Hey there, Internet! How are you doing today? I wanted to actually showcase something that I recently got in the mail. It is a Ketonix. So this guy measures the ketones in your breath. It's a breathalyzer for measuring ketones. So why do you want to measure ketones? Well, if you're trying to lose weight or burn fat, it is good to know how many ketones you have in your system, because ketones are the fuel that your body uses when it's burning fat instead of glucose or sugar. So basically, last month I read a book called Keto Clarity, and it made me realize as I try to get into a ketogenic diet that different people have different carb tolerances. That's essentially how much carbs you can eat in a day and still stay in a state of nutritional ketosis. And there are things you can do. You can, like, there's a stick that you can urinate on. There's like a thing that you can poke your finger and get the blood. It'll tell you how many millimoles of ketones you have. You know, they say 3 to 5 means you're in ketosis. But I didn't really want to be like poking myself and making myself bleed every day. Wasn't fond of the peeing on the sticks to test my ketones. And apparently once you become keto adapted, they're not as good anyway. So I ordered this breathalyzer, this Ketonix. It comes in this little package here. It has like a battery as well as an extra mouthpiece. So I guess if you want other people to try it out, that's in there. But mainly I want to talk about this guy here. So you can use a battery with it and it'll blink lights depending on your level of nutritional ketosis or what state of ketosis you're in. Or you can hook it up to your computer. So essentially you download this application, you set up a profile, and now you can test your ketones. You can also calibrate the device as well, which I would definitely recommend doing. The way it works is you don't just breathe into it like any old thing. You actually just breathe normally as you would, and at the end of your breath, that's when you blow into this. Because essentially, the ketones that you're exhaling, which is acetone, they come out at the bottom of your breath. So you want to breathe out at the last possible moment. And you actually want to push yourself into almost like panic mode. When you're about to panic because you need to breathe again, that's when you stop. For myself, I've only been able to hit about 20 parts per million, so that's like the high end of the green zone, I think 22. But according to the manual, it says anywhere from 4 to 30 is potentially nutritional ketosis. You know, yellow is considered you're going a little far, and then red is you're moving towards, you know, a too high level or you fasted for weeks level of ketosis. Obviously, when it comes to things like ketoacidosis, which is a state you can get into, which is not a good state to be in if you're diabetic. This can measure that as well. People use it for seizures, but mainly I've been using it to test my ketones to make sure I'm in nutritional ketosis. That being said, what I found best for myself is to do it twice a day. So I test it first thing in the morning every day. After I get up, I usually rinse my mouth out with water just to make sure there's nothing going to interfere. And then I will do a test then. And then I'll do it again after lunch, but before dinner. So at around like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll do it again to test where I'm at. And I just consistently test every day to see, what my progress is. It can somewhat tell me if my meals are affecting me in a big way. They talk in the manual, if you want to do it, after exercise, during exercise, before exercise, you can see what that does to you. But essentially, I'm finding it to be a pretty good marker to let me know where I'm at. And I still feel like I'm still adapting to running off of fat as fuel. And I do quite a few carb ups on training days and things like that. So I'm still dialing it in. But I found it very important to make sure that I'm always generating a lot of ketones in my body to stay most optimal. Like for myself, I can't speak for everyone, but I 100% feel most optimal on a ketogenic diet. It has been actually a little bit life-changing, to be honest. And it's worth checking out if you feel like you have any metabolic issues or carb tolerance issues. I can say right now the biggest change is no longer getting the crash after eating, the foods that I would eat before. I would have a big carb-heavy dinner or a carb-heavy lunch. I would need to nap after. I would be exhausted. And now, I have a ton more energy. I don't get those same highs and lows that I used to get, that you would sugar crash or carb crash. Yeah, it's been pretty great. The main thing I want to talk about just in terms of this guy here was when I first got it, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And if someone would have just said, hey, download the application from the Ketonix website, plug it into your computer, create a profile, and click on the measure button and blow into it at the end of your breath for as long as you can until you're almost going to panic, and it'll give you your results. You can save it and you can track it. That's probably the most important components. But I'd highly recommend, if you do want to see what your carb tolerance is and you're trying to get into a ketogenic diet, this to me seems much better than pricking myself or urinating on a stick. So thanks for watching.